sad moments on paternity court.
3 paternity cases going on at one time. These are little, beautiful people you bringing in the world. It's not a sport. Mr. Nicola, you can't really even look at your cousin right now?
No, Your Honor.
What do you feel? Why can't you look?
Betrayed.
This is just eating you up, isn't it, Mr. Eddie?
Yep.
I can just see, honey.
Mr. Mitchell is hoping and praying that today's results don't crush him, because the only way he's marrying his fiancée, Miss Lohman, is if today's DNA results prove that he's the real father of their daughter, London. Otherwise, the wedding is off.
Me and Mr. Mitchell, we fight all the time about, me telling Mr. Mitchell that London is his, and he will tell me, no, I don't think she is.
But you've
Everything
also told him
points
that
to her.
she's not, so...
No, I have never actually told Jonathan that he was not. I told him there was a possibility that he might not be, but I have never for sure told him he hasn't been.
These two started as simple friends back in high school. Mr. Mitchell had a lot of trouble at home, so he moved into Miss Lohman's place, but she already had a boyfriend. That didn't stop them from sharing a kiss, and eventually, things got heated.
After about 2 months of him living with me and my family, we were sitting on the couch one day just talking, and he kissed me. And I told him, I have a boyfriend, we can't do this. And he just kind of shrugged it off and said, okay.
Okay, so at that point, Mr. Mitchell was just your friend?
Yes, Your Honor. We were swimming under the water, and he kissed me under the water, and I came up, and I didn't stop it.
Things got heated. But it looks like having 2 men in her life confused things for Miss Lohman. Initially, she believed that her boyfriend of the time was the baby's father when she got pregnant, but she still stayed with the ex, and Mr. Mitchell was left stranded.
Mitchell, do you remember finding out Miss Lohman was pregnant?
Yes, Your Honor.
When you found that out, what were you thinking?
I didn't know what to think. I didn't know if it was mine or his.
At that point, were you all dating now, you and Miss Lohman?
Yes, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor. We were not dating at the time. I told him there was a possibility. I was still with my ex at the time.
Between all of this, Miss Lohman herself wasn't sure who the real baby's father was. Was it her ex-boyfriend, or was it Mr. Mitchell? But one thing's for sure, she never told her ex that he could be the father. And once London was born, everyone was convinced the child was Mr. Mitchell's.
After she was born, I was like, Mr. Mitchell, she looks just like you. I was like, she has your eyes, the same exact eye color.
But just because she has blue eyes and blonde hair doesn't mean she's mine.
Yes, but my ex had light blue eyes. Jonathan has dark blue eyes. London has dark blue eyes.
And so all through this pregnancy, who's helping you?
Mr. Mitchell is.
And the most crushing part is that Mr. Mitchell's been there since day one to take care of both Miss Lohman and London. He was there during the pregnancy, and he has been there to help raise London. Even Miss Lohman admits he's been a great father.
She knows that Jonathan is going to do what is right. He loves the baby, and he is going to step up and be the father that she needs. And I feel like because she knows that is why we are in the situation we are in.
So you basically believe Ms. Lohman has chosen Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Miss Lohman's ex is a useless person, because if he finds out about the baby, he won't ever support London in any way. But Mr. Mitchell wants clarity and an end to all of the doubts before he finally settles down to make a life with Miss Lohman. Guess it's time for the results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Mitchell, you are not the father. Ms. Lohman, I can tell that was not the news you were expecting to hear.
Mr. Nicola describes a close bond with Arrow, indicating the deep emotional connection he feels. The possibility that the baby might belong to his cousin worries him. Yet, he also expresses happiness for Kayla, referencing their shared painful experience of a miscarriage. His mother has submitted a statement for the court's consideration.
Miss McCartney sent this statement. Cordell's the dad. He's been dad since day one, and I've been grandma since day one. I'll continue to be grandma either way. So your mother's developed a significant bond with Arrow as well, and she believes she's the grandmother.
Mr. Wilson clarifies that he never denied wanting a DNA test and had expressed his willingness to do so, but claims he wasn't given a date. Miss Endicott, aunt to both Mr. Eddy and Cordell, refutes this, saying that the baby's mother declined 2 DNA tests.
Your Honor, she refused 2 of them. My sister told her she would do 2 of them, and she never got back with my sister.
So, Miss Endicott, you are Mr. Eddy's aunt.
And Cordell's.
Okay, so you're another sibling, but just not the twins.
Right.
Gotcha.
I'm the little sister.
You're the little sister.
Mr. Eddy explains he missed the birth of Arrow because he was informed of a doctor's appointment, lacked transportation, and subsequently received a message about an emergency C-section with pictures of the baby. He expresses feeling left out and believes that the mother prefers Mr. Eddy's cousin to be the father.
She just wanted him to be the dad regardless, and that she just wants to be with him. And that tore me up, I ain't gonna lie. That's why I kind of hope it just goes in his favor. That way, don't make me feel as bad.
If Arrow's your biological son, that's gonna make you feel horrible that all of that time you missed.
Right.
Miss Wilson expresses that if she had been in Mr. Eddy's position, she would have done anything, even hitchhike, to be present at the hospital. Her disappointment in him reaffirmed her decision to put Mr. Nicola's name on the birth certificate, as she believed he was the best father for the baby.
Somebody told me that I had a son and he was being born. I don't care if I had to hitchhike, I would be at the hospital the day after.
So you felt
whatever.
like because he didn't get there, he wasn't as committed, which only reaffirmed the reason why you decided Mr. Nicola is gonna be the best father for the baby. I'm putting his name on the birth certificate.
And I believed he was. I still believe he is.
Judge Lake addresses Miss Wilson, pointing out how she may have given Mr. Eddy mixed signals at times, making him feel loved and suggesting a potential future together. Miss Wilson acknowledges this, mentioning there were indeed times she felt that way. Will the DNA result put this feud to rest?
The biological father is Mr. Nicola. How does it feel, Mr. Nicola?
Great.
Miss Ware opened this case because she believes Mr. Wilson, her gay best friend, is the father of her child. She says they met while she was in hair school and would see him around. They stayed friends for many years, but after a night of passion, everything changed. Mr. Wilson, on the other hand, firmly denies this paternity claim.
How did you hit it off? I mean, what was
Basically
it
just
that you
being
all
friends.
had in common that made you such great friends?
You know, we could hang out with each other. We had good conversation. We like mutual things. And plus, I met her in passing because she did hair. You know, my gay best friend loved getting his hair done and doing all that type of stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? We just pretty much crossed in passing and whatever together.
And you were dating other people at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Wilson says they were really good friends for a long time. Miss Ware, on the other hand, says she had a crush on him from the start. They were both dating other people at this time. One night, she invited him over for movies, and he came. She says she made a move, and he didn't push her away.
We got to drinking, watching little movies or whatever, and I ain't gonna lie, I made a move, and he didn't push me away, so that was my reassurance. Okay, maybe he wants this too.
So wait, so hold on, y'all done from the potluck to the potluck.
Yeah.
Mr. Wilson says when they met, he got intoxicated, and one thing led to another, which led them to sleeping together. Miss Ware says they had unprotected intercourse, while Mr. Wilson says he distinctly remembers using a condom. Judge Lauren questions how he can remember that if he was intoxicated.
After she got me drunk, she kind of started filling up on me and stuff. So it went from oral, then it just went from there.
Oh, okay, I asked the question, didn't I? So Miss Ware, you had your plan all mapped out.
Yes, ma'am.
You ain't no shame in your game, huh?
No, ma'am.
Judge Lauren asked Miss Ware how many other men she was having unprotected intercourse with at the time. She says between 3 or 4. Judge Lauren asks her about paternity testing, and she says she has gotten all 3 tested, and they are not the fathers of her little son.
You say Mr. Wilson is the only other possibility.
Yes, Your Honor.
But Mr. Wilson, you say you are not the biological father.
No, Your Honor.
So you don't believe you're the only other possibility?
No, Your Honor. She's been with multiple men. As she stated, I'm not the father. I love my godson dearly, Your Honor, but he's not my son.
Miss Ware says there's no other possibility for a father, while Mr. Wilson says there were plenty of other men at the time who could be the father, and he is not one of them. Miss Ware accuses him of making this situation out to be something it's not.
Do you feel like, Mr. Wilson, you know for certain that there were more men besides the 3?
Yes, Your Honor, because like I said, we've been
Your Honor,
friends
but
for a
there were
long
only
time.
4. There was
no,
only
Your Honor,
4.
it was more than that, Your Honor. She's done told me multiple things over the years.
Mr. Wilson,
and
please don't sit here and
Miss
try
Ware.
to make it seem like something that it's not, because that's
Miss
not
Ware.
true. Your Honor, that
Miss
is
Ware.
not true.
Okay, Your Honor.
Mr. Wilson says he doesn't believe the child is his, and that Miss Ware is trying to use the child as leverage to get him to move back, because he's been doing well in his life after being gone for 2 years. Miss Wilson says she just wants her son's father in their lives. So, what will the DNA results say?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Wilson, you are not the father.
Thank you, Your Honor. You know, I'm sorry, and I don't want to be the bad guy or nothing. I love her, and I love my godson, but I'm glad that we just got this out the way and stuff now. I'm not his father.
Miss Thomas and Mr. McKee met on a dating site and started seeing each other soon thereafter. Miss Thomas claims they were in a committed relationship with each other, but when she told him about her pregnancy, he said the baby wasn't his. Mr. McKee maintains he looked at the baby and realized he wasn't the father.
You and the defendant, Mr. McKee, met on an online dating website, and the conversation quickly jumped offline and into Mr. McKee's bed. You believed you were in a committed relationship with the defendant and was devastated when he denied your pregnancy. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Lauren asks Miss Thomas how the relationship started. She says she met Mr. McKee online, and they talked for a month or 2 before they met each other in real life. The relationship soon turned sexual, and she began to think it might turn into a committed relationship at some point.
Did it turn into a relationship at some point?
Well, I thought maybe we was gonna head that way, but evidently he wasn't looking for what I was looking for.
So, Mr. McKee, you having sex, having this relationship going, but you weren't feeling like making commitment.
I wasn't ready, Your Honor.
Say something else besides that. No, really, Mr. McKee.
Mr. McKee, when asked, stated that he liked the photo Miss Thomas had put online. She had been going over to see Mr. McKee for little over a month, but he wasn't interested in commitment. Soon, she began to think she might be pregnant. He thought she was joking around until the truth came out in a pregnancy test.
And when you find out, you call Mr. McKee and tell him?
Yes, ma'am. And he thought I was just joking, like playing, or just maybe just sick. So maybe like a couple weeks later, I said, let me take a pregnancy test. So I took a pregnancy test. I took a picture of it, and I sent it to him through text message. He was like, what is this? I was like, a pregnancy test. He said, I don't know how to read these, so tell him what that means. I say, I'm pregnant. He's like, oh, okay.
Miss Thomas says she was 3 months pregnant when she told Mr. McKee about her pregnancy. He told her to do whatever she wished to about the pregnancy, after which he blocked her number. Miss Thomas kept trying to phone, only to realize the number was switched off and only connected when she changed numbers when her baby was born.
So after the baby was born, you tried back again with this
tried
new
back
number?
again, like a week later with a new number, and then he answered. And I told him I just had my baby. He still couldn't like really believe me. He was like, send me some pictures. So I sent him some pictures. And he's like, that's my baby. Are you sure that's my baby?
So wait a minute, Mr. McKee. When you got the pictures, what were you thinking?
Like, this not my baby, Your Honor.
Miss Thomas says she spent her pregnancy alone, and when she finally connected with Mr. McKee, he asked her to send him pictures of the baby. Upon sending, Mr. McKee immediately felt like the baby wasn't his, because the baby looked biracial, and both Mr. McKee and Miss Thomas were black. He also said Trump could be the baby's father.
She sent you a text with a picture of the baby. Your first response was what?
The baby look like he can be for Donald Trump.
Really?
I didn't expect that one.
He thinks the color makes a difference. The color don't make a difference.
I think what you're saying is you thought the baby was biracial? That's what you meant.
Miss Thomas reveals they were initially using protection, but stopped upon Mr. McKee's request, even though she had told him she was fertile and had recently had a baby. She says she hid the pregnancy from her entire family because of the shame associated with being a single mom again.
I hid this pregnancy the whole 9 months from my whole family because I didn't want to have another child without their dad.
So the entire 9 months you went without the support?
When I went into labor, my family was like, what? You in the hospital having what? I said, I'm in the hospital having my baby.
And you had no idea, Mr. McKee?
Man, I didn't know she was having a baby, Your Honor. You look at that baby.
He looks just like you, just a different color.
The pair say the baby's skin color has been a subject of suspicion in the families. Judge Lauren asked Ms. Thomas if she had been with any other men at the time of conception. She says no, but Mr. Thomas has 2 others on the way. Guess the DNA test will finally bring out the truth, right?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. McKee, you are not the father.
Are you serious?
He is not the father, Ms. Thomas. Do you know who Carson's father is?
Yes, like my ex before I met him.